first thing that comes to your mind when you hear the term strategy should be a process. It never ends. Strategy keeps on changing from time to time. So it's a process with a summary of hacks, tools, for you to achieve a certain marketing objective. A marketing objective means if I am Safaricom, probably I may want awareness. But if I am Unisu starting up a small business, then I will decide I want to get conversions as soon as possible. But Safaricom introduces new products every single time. So if you look at them, the marketing objective is a totally different level than a marketing objective of another organization. So it guides, it has guidelines of the actions you're going to put in place, the tools you're going to put in place. Also, it's going to look at what are your objectives, will they be met? And then also we are going to look at how do I do conclusive reporting. So before we start creating a strategy, before I decide my name is X company, and this X company, probably let's give an example. This is Airtel, and Airtel decides you want to get into the Kenyan market, or I want to start up my own business. The first question that comes to my mind is, what are the latest trends? I cannot wake up and start posting content because as you can see, the trends keep on changing, especially with the pandemic from 2020. A lot has been happening on the social media space. So the first thing that has come up is Instagram Reels. Yes, and I've seen brands using this. Instagram Reels, this is a new feature. It's like a TikTok within Instagram, meaning for every 15 seconds of a short clip video you create within Instagram, it gets more visibility. There is a feature that came out last year around August, rolled out by Instagram. And one of the reasons why they did this is because during the pandemic 2020, very many of us, or rather the people between the youths mostly, were using TikTok a lot. So that is the younger audience. And Instagram was not having any of it. Instagram decided we are going to introduce this new feature and we will ensure this succeeds. Meaning, if I am a brand, if I ride on these reels, the visibility of my video will be better comparing to even the people who follow me. Whenever you follow, you post your content, you'll realize all of your followers, all of the people who like your content will be seeing that content. But now coming in with the reels, it gives you a new audience. And if you're among the first brands, or rather, especially influencers are using it right now, if you're among the first brands to ride on it, then it means they get a better audience. It's up to an audience I've never met. The goal, I believe the goal of your brand being on social media is for you to create a new audience and also for you to gain conversions. Remember, Eunice is already buying from me on a single day. So I need other more Eunices for my business to grow to a certain level on social media. Instagram stories have also become very, very popular. Years back, Snapchat was known for its disappearing feature, fear of missing out. It's called fear of missing out, inducing content. Now over 500 million people use the feature daily on Instagram. So that means even these social media platforms look at what are our competitors doing? How do we improve? How do we make a customer experience better? How do we make Eunice coming to my page buy from me directly? Also, the live stream has remained very popular. I'm sure none of us, once it hits almost 1 o'clock, you'll get a notification.
If you can hear me kindly.
Yes, you can hear.
We have a request that you increase. I don't know if you can zoom a bit because of the material on your slide so that the content can be seen clearly. You can increase the font or just zoom in if possible.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So as it's saving. So as I was mentioning earlier, live stream is really popular right now. Coming in, you will see how different brands, especially Kenyan brands, will be looking a lot at Kenyan brands, local brands, and you'll see how many of these brands are tapping into the live stream. And live stream right now, nobody will sit down and watch TV directly. We'll all watch live, or breaking news always right now comes in through social media. And that is now the power of social media as at now. All right. So I believe you can view it better.
Yes, I think that's better.
All right. Also, another thing that is really coming up, there is something known as customer journey. What is a customer journey? A customer journey is a process a customer will take for them to meet my brand online and buy from me. Will Eunice have a bad customer experience? I call, probably the calls are not being picked, nobody's returning them, the emails, and even before I got to your contact, did it take me a long process? Yes. And that is why social commerce has come. Social commerce means Facebook has introduced Facebook shops. I believe most of you have seen it. Instagram has also introduced Instagram shop. So we'll continue to see examples of more and more features coming in with such features, simply because people want to see a product, see the prices, and see the pricing. Also, this feature came out because of authentic content. Most content creators or most businesses online right now have very good content, but then if you go and scroll down and look at some of the comments looking for some of their prices, you'll not get them. So Facebook is trying to make sure your brand is as authentic as possible online. Also, virtual reality has become very popular. Virtual reality are these features you always put on Instagram, these filters you're always using. Whenever you speak to somebody on live, whether they're in two different worlds apart, they'll forever feel like you're close to them. So that is also coming up very, very fast. Also, long form video, not short form, long form videos. YouTube is actually known for this. And that is why you've seen very many influencers and brands are now going online to be able to create content. But the question is my content compelling? Am I doing something called brand storytelling? And also, apart from that, is my content what the audience wants to hear, not what Eunice wants to hear? So digital disinformation will be tackled. There were more than 101 million mentions of disinformation leading up to June 2020. This is data courtesy of Social Media Today. So last year, over 101 posts on social media are all flagged down simply because of not having authentic content. Personalized marketing and user-generated content. This is content created by others so that you can share. For example, a client decides to say, I am very happy about your service and I rate it online. That is a personalized content. It came from a third party. Another way you can also do a personalized content is if I trained within a certain organization called Capability, I can decide to go and do content of, I had a great training, it impacted my business, I saw X and X growth within my company, close exclamation marks. And you can actually put Eunice, CEO of this and this, or business manager of this and this X place. So that is personalized content. Also, audio content has become on the rise. Podcasts, right now, podcasts are really key. So Twitter is now launching, it's now doing a live test of its voice recording, whereby I can directly message you a voice call directly. So this is a feature that is coming up. And one of the key brands, if you want to do your own podcast, you can decide every single Friday we'll be giving update of a new product, of a new feature, or educating our own audience about how they can use our services, how it can benefit them, what is their product benefit. Remember, a consumer online will always ask, I've seen your product, it's good, but the question in their mind is, what is in for me? What am I getting in the return? So is your content doing the same? Can I be doing podcast every single Friday? I've seen a lot of radio stations doing this in Kenya right now. Also, partnerships with SMEs, we'll look at this, and then messaging will become more memtic. That means a lot of meme content, and you need to know, how do I create memes that resonate with my brand? I cannot use a meme for Weetabix. I'll use a meme for Capability. And how do I create that so that the message is hot? So with those kind of trends, now that you already know what is happening on social media, this is a strategy I always advise. First thing, set your goals. What do you want to achieve? The same way you're always letting, if you want to set up a campaign online, I want to know what is the goal. Is it engagement? Do I want to engage people? Do I want video views? The kind of ads you see for Netflix and Showmax, those are video views. Those are video kind of ads that you always see. So also get to determine who is your audience, what is their age, what is their agenda, am I targeting people between 18 to X age? I am a university, I want to roll out a program for people postgraduate. I take people between 24 to 35. So look at their age bracket, look at their interest, also understand their behavior online. Choose what platform will work for you. LinkedIn may work for you, it may not work for you, and it says brand. So no Facebook, is it Facebook will work for me? Is it Twitter? Where am I highly to get conversions? Also, how will I know? Are there tools in place that can help me know what people are talking about my brand, to see mentions? How many people are mentioning at Capability today? Are they saying something negative or positive? And then implementation, tracking and measuring. This means you need to know up-to-date tools. And then when you're reporting, getting to know what do we adjust on. So there are 2 steps involved in a social media marketing strategy. The first step is always planning and development. So coming up with content ideas, deciding on the momentum or rather the platform to use, depending on your audience. And then also state the KPIs, e.g., how many posts will we do in a day? Is it 1, is it 2? Which are our key days? When do we get a lot of traffic online? When do people call us a lot on Saturdays? Then that's when we do our content because our audience is online. And then choose the type of execution plan. Is it influencers? Is it content creators you're using? And then also know your objectives. And part 2 is now the execution. A strategy is not a document you always put online. A strategy is a document that has to be working. You have it and you understand this is what you want to do. So how do we execute this? So how do we audit our current social media presence? How many followers do we have? You'll find pages that have 30,000 kind of followers, but they have 0 engagement. So there is a miss. What are we growing? Is it the following we are growing? Is it the engagements? Is it conversions? Because the key, you can be having so much content online, but you're not converting, or rather you're not getting qualified leads. You're getting people who inquire, but they do not have the purchase power of your product or your service. So document who your ideal customer is, implement your objectives, create and curate engaging content. Content is king. That is graphics, infographics, invest in social media management tool. You do not need to pay for it. There are also other new free tools you can use online. Example is Facebook Scheduler, another one is TweetDeck, and there are very many we look at. Then invest in a digital analytical tool. It's very good to analyze what is working for us, what is not working for us. So why do a social media audit? So do a situation analysis. Where are we currently right now? Because you need to know your market share. Whether we like it or not, in the telecommunication sector, Safaricom will forever have 80%. As much as people may complain, but Safaricom will forever have 80%. Then the other players come in. Why? They're consistently marketing themselves. Consistently. There's always something Safaricom is running. Today they will say we are doing culture, the next time this. But if you look at it, it's just the same brand, different languages. The kind of content you use also matters. Safaricom says 2 hours. So these people have been able to use the language that they know the audience will understand. They've marketed themselves so well. When you see color green, you see Safaricom. When I see red, I see Airtel. I see KRA. So the goal is, when will my brand ever get to this level, and what strategies are they putting in place? Also, you need to know who is your market, where are they located, know the current social media trends. Also, to get an idea of what your competitors are doing. A competitor analysis is very key. Why? You're not competing with your competitor. No, I will be able to tell what this bank is known for, what this bank is known for, what this bank is known for. And then I'll be able to tell what product in the market has nobody tapped on. There's so much content online. I keep saying there's so much content online. Everybody is creating very good content, but you'll actually get to realize it's repetitive. If you've seen, there's a lady who's been trending on social media who's been doing Photoshop in a very unique way. And everybody is now all over her. Why? Including brands have now said, can we partner with you? Do artwork for us. Can we partner with you to do this? That's a brand that is getting value simply because she realized a certain niche, a market niche that was not captured, and she fulfilled it. And then also customer relationship, and then value proposition. So this is a funnel, and this is the funnel before you create your strategy. Where am I? Am I on the top? Do I just need people to know this is Eunice? She has this kind of a brand. She does this training in Capable. The next thing is somebody will be aware there's this company called Capable. The next thing will be they'll be interested in you. So the next thing they'll come and inquire, they'll become a hot lead. Then they will consider, should I purchase or not? They will only become a conversion if there's a money value to it, if they leave you their number or their email. And that is why, as a brand, any content going online without a call to action does not make sense, because you need to have your numbers online. After you put your content, always have your numbers, always have your links if you have a website, and even have your emails there. As even if you're a startup, I always insist put your content online, because there's so much content online right now. Someone will come online, look at your content, be impressed. There's no number. I'll move to the next person who has a number. So that this is a funnel. So this funnel really helps you a lot. Then brands that have been leveraging on live in 2020. As I mentioned, a lot of media houses have been doing this, but these are brands I've been watching also. So these are two brands. And you will come and realize they're always doing their lives. The strategy, every single time you see a poster of a certain brand, always ask yourself as a digital marketer, or rather as a business owner, is what was in their mind whenever they were creating this. The first thing you look at it, you'll realize they were using their CEO. They were using somebody of authority. For example, if there's a crisis within a certain bank and I've lost money, if I go to that bank, I will not want to speak to the receptionist. I want to speak to the CEO. So the fact that the CEO is speaking, everybody will be glued to want to hear his content. Two, they've created it in such a way, it's a program, happens every single Thursday, Friday, or Tuesdays. And they put very key headlines on the same. So these are brands that have been doing the same, and you're not limited to doing the same for your own brand. So this is also an idea we can have. Brand partnerships that I've mentioned. So this is what I saw. I saw this recently on social media. So Britam has partnered with Little Cab to offer you a personal accident and COVID-19 based care. And as you can see, brand partnerships, as I was mentioning, SMEs. I don't know if you've seen KCB page. You'll notice Victoria Courts also has been featuring in other brands, simply because Little Cab comes in and knows what is our value. We'll be getting a new audience through Britam. And Britam, what is their value? We'll be having our logistics sorted by them. So brand partnerships have become very, very key in 2020, especially from 2020 going forward. And it's also very good because if your brand is featured with another brand, I get to introduce to a new different audience that are not aware, or rather they have not purchased from my brand, or rather my business. This is a digital copywriting funnel. And this is a process I always use whenever you're creating compelling content. I don't know how many of us have been seeing very amazing artwork online and you wonder, how did they come up with their words? So copywriting, this means creating compelling headlines for your content. And this comes in a lot on whenever you want to do your YouTube headlines, whenever you want to do your social media content, the headlines you put on your banners, they will be captivating. A good example, I don't know how many of us have seen Tuko do a blog and they'll tell you the reasons why X company is failing. Reason 5 will shock you. And you will go and read it because of that reason 5 and look for that number 5, why did this company fail? So that is also another way of creating catch content. So the first thing is creating the first thing whenever you're creating your social media content, awareness. Create highly engaging videos this is an example. Create highly engaging videos straight from your phone. If I see that headline, social media headline, there's a higher chance 70% of us will click, because everybody wants to know, how do I just create a video? They're giving a solution. The next thing is creating interest in your content. Any content you share, include your figures, but make sure they are right, or rather include facts. That means you can say this whenever you create a video whenever you want to create a video on your phone using our platform, you'll get 80 to 100% video engagement. The next thing, you'll get 30 to 35 higher video views. In short, you're giving me the reasons of buying. 30% of this, X% of this. So you can even include, if for example, you have a shop and you want to give a breakdown of how your services work, this is the part where you include them. Another thing is coming into the decision. Now this is where you you implement something known as a product benefit. You cannot tell Eunice, purchase this for your hair, purchase this chemical. It has 30% oxytocin, 20% this chemical. To me as a consumer, I just want to know, will this product grow my hair or not? Will this product do this for me or not? So you're creating something known as a product benefit. So not only can you create high engaging quality content on your phone, you can also edit it. So you're giving a product benefit. And the last thing, on your write-up of your content that you're posting every day, put a call to action, a number, an email, something that will make, so when Eunice sees this, the next thing she'll ask is, how do I reach you? So always put your contacts on your business. Then coming in, once we've already been able to create our own content, the next question is, are there tools that can do this? Their content, these are tools. Many people ask me, many students ask, I'm getting into an agency, or rather I work with a different sector, business sector, and I've been contracted to do this work for a certain organization, and probably I do not know the keywords or the content to use. I've not been in that business. These tools really come in for that. But Sumo and Copy.ai, these are all web-based tools that help us a lot whenever we want to create our own copyright content. Also coming into the strategy tools. These are the tools that I use a lot, and these are the tools I also coming up with from research. These are the ones I find very key recently, and tools keep on changing. Social media tools keep on changing from time to time. So these tools, for example, Canva, I think some of us, if we know, Canva is used a lot for graphical content and post on MyWall, and I think we'll do one or two. BrandCrowd, if you want to create your own logos. So I believe after this training, you do not have a reason of saying I cannot create my own online presence and be able to implement a strategy behind it. That if you're looking for images to use, you're wondering where people are always getting images of a happy family enjoying X. So they use platforms that help them get copyrighted images, and Splash and Pixels are very good. If you want to create your own infographics, if you want to create your own GIFs and memes, and then if you want to schedule your content, I've seen the funnel of how to create my own copyrights or other compelling event headlines. The next thing is, how do I schedule my content? So I'll pick one or two tools for us to do practically. And then the next thing is social media listening tools. As I mentioned, it's always good to know what are people talking about my brand. Also, apart from that, getting to understand what is the latest trend. Where do I stand in the digital space? What is my market share? Am I 10% or am I the 90%? And it's also very good for you to do a keyword and hashtag search on Instagram. I think this I'll show us also practically. Then content reporting tools. These are tools, Facebook Insights. These you can get on your page. And then Sprout Social, Meltwater, and RapidIQ. These tools are very key whenever you want to do reporting. At the end of the month, they will analyze your page. That is, they will analyze how many new followers did I get? How much conversions am I getting? What content is getting visibility? What content is not getting visibility? Apart from that, the next thing we'll also be able to look at, we shall be able to understand what are the current brands doing something amazing on the social media space, so that we understand probably the strategies changed, because no brand in 2020 March did not change their strategy. So the next thing we'll be looking at is content. So we'll be able to understand why is content involved a lot in our strategy. The first thing is, always have audience in mind while creating content. You can be very happy creating a very good flyer or a very good story, but then to your audience, it may not be as compelling as you may think. So the first thing before you use any social media site, I always like using this chart. This is content defined. Instagram, here is a photo of my donut because it's real time. Facebook, I like donuts. LinkedIn, my skills include donut eating. Twitter, I am eating hashtag a donut. So you look at what platforms will work for us, what platforms will not work for you as a brand. So the types of content comes in different forms. There's blog posts, but right now blog posts, people will not read blogs as much as if you do not have a very compelling headline. Video content is on the rise, so really video content is very key. Case studies are very key. Before and after content is very key. It is said that somebody will trust you more on social media once they got referred to you through somebody else. So case studies of before and after, your happy clients, your testimonials, and how these testimonials are presented is key, because you do not want to do them like the way any other person is doing them. Your infographics, podcast, and even social media. The first thing with your content, be original with your content. Publish accurate information. Make your audience always think. And then also use a lot of visuals. If you can't use a lot of visuals, master how to use your headlines using those copywriting free tools I've shown you. Run a competitor analysis. Make content about them or relevant to them. And then hook your readers with your intro. This is a sample of content calendar. So whenever you've already seen tools, you've already known types of content, you now want to know, how do I schedule my content? So a content calendar, basically, it's a calendar that sums up everything you do in a week. If you're a business startup, this can be done on a Saturday or on a Sunday. If you're already working in an organization, then this can be done on a Monday for approval purposes. Remember, you cannot be selling to me every single day. I will opt out of your page. So the first thing is you need to know how to use factual content. Did you know that 20% of business owners cannot be able to afford property here and here? Probably you're selling property. Another thing is you can say to do a Monday motivational content that is geared in your sector. I can decide to do a trendy content. Trendy content means there was something trending initially, was before and after, how it started and now, showing your clients where you're from and where you've headed to and how far you've gone. It buys trust online. Another thing is using memes, and I think KCB, when social media started really hitting, KCB was one of the key brands. Using a lot of GIFs and video, using a lot of commercial content, and then using a lot of also trivia questions. And I'll show you a sample of a trivia question, a throwback content. So as you've seen, so as you've seen, the only commercial content came in on Thursday. We have not sold every day. So this is a calendar you may consider. So what makes a social media brand stand out? Creativity is key right now. Creativity, impactful content, trendy content, engaging content, and memorable content. And I would like us to see a few brands. These are brands I believe all of us have been seeing, most of us have been seeing Farmer's Choice online. Today I saw they did something amazing online. So Farmer's Choice from 2020, everybody has seen a very huge change. They've been doing a lot of content, but their content is very creatively and curatively done. This is the content they did in they said, let's talk sausages, all shapes and sizes, and they put a smile on it, but this is a converted content. Why? How many people liked that content? 745. How many comments did they get? How many shares did they get? This post itself met its target. The next brand that has been coming up a lot right now is Poster Kenya. Poster Kenya, recently, they've now come back to social media. And I know most of us will say, yes, they're back, but very many people are complaining, which is good. At least it shows their voice is back in the market and they want to fully take over back the market. And if you look at the comments, you'll find very many people complaining about their services. As a brand, they can take that positively and can be able to tweak and be able to know our customers are complaining at this stage in their customer journey. They bring their products maybe, and maybe some of them are delivered late. So this is a problem we can fix. So social media also captures that. So the rest right now, in strategy right now, especially with 2020 up to 2021 with social media, every person will say, I create compelling content, but I'm not getting conversions. Every brand is running for something called return on investment. I spent 100 shillings for these ads. I'm expecting 200 shillings. So the goal is, can I get a strategy for also my advertising? I already know what objective I'll do a situation analysis where I am right now. And then the next thing we now want to know is, you already have compelling content, but you want to grow our numbers. So that is the new oil. That is the new currency. I don't know how many of us have heard of this. But It means the people who are already buying from you, you can be able to fill that data to Facebook to give you a lookalike. I am Eunice, I always buy from you directly. So you can create an audience that Eunice buys from you, she's 27, earns X amount, this age, this gender, lives here. So once you've already done that, you can feed that data to Facebook, and Facebook will create something known as a lookalike audience for you. What is a lookalike audience? A lookalike audience means whenever we put up our ads, that ad will be more targeted. That is why you're hearing a lot of people mentioning data-driven advertising. So that's a strategy you also need to have in mind. Data-driven advertising is not boosting. I repeat, it is not boosting posts. The more you're boosting, I feel like you're losing a lot of money. Data-driven advertising, right now, this is where the world is headed. So as a business owner, this is where you should be. So on Facebook, organic is dead. When I say organic is dead, I mean, how many of us today saw a post from a brand that was not sponsored? Zero. But then you'll come and see if, for example, you logged in on Facebook right now and you can be able to, you're following so many brands, so many companies online, you've liked their pages, but you'll never see their content until they boost. In short, Facebook is telling us, if you have a page and if you want to get conversions and better visibility, then you need to set up something known as advertising. But advertising is all about how do I set up data-driven or other targeted advertising. So have targeted advertising, choose people according to the age you want, age group, the interest, look at the gender. Also look at your data, use your data a lot to create a lookalike audience. Have a media plan. A media plan is just an Excel sheet of a plan of how much will I be spending this month? What is the cost per conversion? We got 20 inquiries. How many did we convert? How much are we charged per inquiry? Also look at your campaign objective. Where are you? If you're a school, lead generation will work for you. Lead generation campaign means you'll be able to collect data in terms of, I've put up an ad, I'm training CPA as an example, and I want your name, your email, your phone number. For me, Eunice has a shop in town, probably selling dresses. I will not need that. I probably just need your number, Eunice's number. So I'll do a WhatsApp campaign. Also, WhatsApp for business is very big right now. As much as we all have catalogs, how many inquiries do you get with your WhatsApp for business? That's the question. How do I use WhatsApp for business for advertising? It all comes here in your strategy. Look at the duration when you're running your campaigns and the choice of timing. Choice of timing, because if your target audience is corporates, you'll be setting up your ads on 15th. Because they always have cash flow. If you're selling your products or your services to Eunice who is paid end month as an example, then you'll have, right now is the best time for you to start setting up your campaign, because that's when my audience have the purchase power. Then why social media strategy required? To create great content. It helps you create great content. It helps you have your brand growth, content marketing. So the next thing, these are examples because I want us to see one practical feature. These are examples of content that have been very compelling online. So right now you can actually say, if you're not doing CSR, I'm a small organization and you want to go and give back, or rather you want to go give masks to our society, our small community, there's a school there. So that can also be content. This is a trivia question. So what is the weight of the empty container? And this is a content that is there geared to gain engagements. So you can actually be able to get it as you wish. If I am selling shoes, I can be able to, instead of using empty containers, I will use shoes here to symbolize what we are known for as a brand. Also, use all of your logos on your content. I always say your logo is your identity as a brand. People identify colors, people identify icons. This is a very example of a commercialized content that is a meme. If you look at this picture, a polite reminder that Valentine's is nay beloveds. And as if you can look at the comments, you will see this is a content that meets its target. Why? It's a meme sort of, but if you look at the content, it's more or less telling you come for loans for Valentine's. This is an example of a very well curated content. And if you look at the comments, you'll get to see people asking whether their accounts could be activated as examples. Then also using your keywords on your content is very key. There's an example of Mwananchi. You are entitled. So if you see the keyword title is within their brand color. And even apart from that, you'll get to see this is the giving title deed loans. So headlines again in copywriting. Tender wema nenda zako, those are tender loans that they're giving out. This is an example of a motivational content, a discount content also. So having a discount content is really key, especially right now with what is happening. I want to show you one or two tools that I think will be very key. The goal for me is you'll get the notes, but the goal is, can I live here knowing something practically? So a good example, one of the tools I mentioned is this called BrandCrowd. I believe everybody can see my screen. So all those tools, I believe, will be shared to the presentation. So BrandCrowd is a tool for logo. I'm assuming we are business owners. I believe, let me see. I want to use one person so that they tell me if they can see my screen. Good. So you can see my screen?
Yeah, it's still loading.
Okay.
We can see it now. Yeah.
Good. So I'm assuming you're a small business owner, or rather you're employed. Probably you're employed and you're looking to start a side hustle. I think COVID-19 has showed this, it's really good to have multiple incomes. So this is a tool that helps you come up with ideas for your logos. So a good example, let's say I want a company called, I am starting a company called, I'm seeing Grace Muley, so I'll say Grace Carpets. That's the name of my company. Yeah? So this helps you come up with different logo ideas, especially for a startup. With time, once you start getting enough income, you'll now start paying. You'll now professionally pay a good graphics designer to do for you a very good logo. So this is an example of it. And as you can see, these are different logos. Not only in Apatia carpets. These are so many that, let me use this. So these are so many that you can use. You see? So these are about up to around 300. If you're not getting what you want, come here, put a keyword. Then I will say I want to create a logos. So if you're in the household sector, do the same. And then I always say curiosity is very key. Very, very key, because it helps you a lot. So as it loads, once you click on the logo you want to create, I wanted to show you how to edit it. So a good example, let's say Grace Muley company is here. So let's say, for example, you want to use this, I can edit it. I can be able to edit it. Okay, so as it loads also, as I mentioned, that is a tool you can use for that strategy. Another thing I've said advertising is totally different. Another tool that I've mentioned for scheduling content, you're always busy, probably your manager needs other reports. There's a tool called Facebook Creator Studio. Disclaimer, you cannot open this tool without logging into your Facebook directly, or rather logging into your page. Okay, so we said we want to use this one. So we want to edit it. On the other side, we have Facebook Creator Studio. So Creator Studio is a tool that helps you a lot to schedule your content. And why I like it, you can also backdate. So you find people trust a brand that has already grown. I'm a small startup and I'm starting up, and I want to also backdate my content. Meaning, if, for example, yesterday was Easter and you forgot to wish people happy Easter, I can backdate it. And it will be able to schedule that content with that date. It will show this content to my consumers or to my prospects online. They will see this content was scheduled yesterday at a specific timing. Okay, let me close a few tabs.
Hi.
So that is also one of the tools that I think are also very key. Another tool I will also want us to know before Okay. Let me just reshare again so that we move a bit faster. Okay, great. All right, it's loading. My goal is, if you may not create a strategy after this, the goal is you can be able to leave here being able to say, I captured 1 or 2 tools. All right, so this is Creator Studio. I believe it will still load. Meanwhile, we can also look at, okay. So as I mentioned earlier, if you do not have a strategy, this is what happens to your brand. If you do not create a strategy for your brand, especially advertising wise, because advertising is where I see a lot of brands really wanting to be able to get a return on investment, being able to say we can now get conversions, or rather we can get conversions from our social media. And also another thing, if you do not, many people ask, what happens if you do not have a social media strategy? Not having a strategy will actually realize you'll start making a lot of losses online. Another thing you'll realize, either quarterly or yearly, you cannot be able to account to how many new followers you have. Another thing is also being on every social media channel is something that I do not advise. Look at a channel that works for you. Where do people hear our content, and where do we get a lot of comments? Where are we getting a lot of negative comments? Also, always have a plan for something known as a crisis. Have a crisis management plan. Simply because what happens if today somebody wakes up and we are Chase Bank? It all started with somebody online mentioning one thing, and then it led to the other. So you come and see many people will now start opting out, and you do not even have a plan in place. Who responds at what time? On social media, what tone do we use? Also, another disclaimer I always say, whenever you're creating a strategy and your content, do not affiliate your brand with anything political, anything tribal. Do not. Okay? Simply because a good example, when I always give this example, when Raila said people to leave Safaricom, go to Airtel, at no point did Airtel talk. At no point did Airtel say Raila Toshawai, because they're protecting their brand image. The same thing. Also, if I cannot be tribal online because my client is that white or black, my client is that Kikuyu or Luo, so you'll come and find you do not want to be able to, you do not want your audience not to be able to grow with you, or rather they even start complaining of the services they're getting. So for those two things, for you as an individual, well and good. For you as a brand, always never. Also, have a tracking tool. As I've said, Sprout Social is a very good tool. Do not have an intern to do everything. Make sure it's a teamwork. Use images on every content, because right now, if you've not noticed, a lot of us are consuming a lot of video content. And if we are asked, why are we consuming video content? Simply because our concentration span on social media became low. Meaning people online, there's so much content online, and people will now consume a lot of video content simply because it's more engaging, it's more compelling. Also, apart from that, one thing I always insist on social media, before you even create your own strategy, look at who is doing what in what space. Look at also the messaging platforms you shall be using. That means, will you be using WhatsApp for business? Will we be using Instagram? Will we be using Facebook? Will we be using bulk SMS on the same? Also, will we be having a website at some point? So these are some of the nitty-gritties we really need to also look at. So the good thing is my browser has accepted what I wanted. Good. So as I mentioned earlier, this tool is called Sprout Social. I believe you can see it. Simon, you can see it?
Yes, I can see it.
Yes, Sprout Social is a very good tool for reporting. If you're a digital marketer or a marketer and you're looking for a reporting tool, it's always good to look at Variety. This tool is really good. Another thing, how do I keep up with the trends? This is one of the tools that I read a lot of their blogs, simply because they give trends and they give what is always new in every single space. Apart from social media, they give about search engine optimization, websites, and the likes. So this is also one tool. The other tool I mentioned was this tool here, called Creator Studio. So this tool, I use it a lot whenever I want to schedule content. So when you open Facebook Creator Studio, click on the first link, this is what you'll get. Then you will say you want to create your post. Once you want to create a post, I want it to pop up so that you can also be able to see, can I schedule my content? And can I be able to backdate my own content? Can I see these things practically? I think benefit of doubt also. Okay, and then this is the Grace Carpets tool. Remember the BrandCrowd? This is the one. So coming into the background, you can change the colors if you want to. So if Grace is using whichever color, I can do that. Another thing, if I want to edit Grace Carpets, I want to call it Mulay Carpets. Same thing, you can edit it there. If you also layout, you can also change your layout if you want to any point as you wish, depending on your creativity. Then you can also change your background if you wish to. Remember, this is for somebody who is starting out. Coming up to your slogan, your one-stop carpet service provider, as an example. This font, you can also change this font if you wish to, so you're not limited. So you can change it to any type of font that you want. And then you can also change your colors. As I mentioned, creativity. So BrandCrowd comes in key with very logos. Then the next thing that comes in very key with content is Creator Studio. Here it is. It has popped up. So you'll be able to put your content from that content calendar. Content calendar you prepare on a Saturday or on a Monday. That means this is a content that will run for 1 week. Initially, we used to do content calendar for a whole 1 month, but then you come and realize trends are changing all the time. A good example, always ride on trending content. A very good example is there's an MCA who said, "Sihini criminal," and people are making fun of it, memes online. What did Bonfire do? Bonfire went, said, "Easy deals we are offering next Saturday for Naivasha criminal," and people related with that, and they got their conversions. So also look at, when am I scheduling my content? What content am I sharing? If you're choosing an influencer, choose an influencer who resonates with your brand. Why? I cannot be selling diapers or Pampers and I'll go and pick a male influencer. Women, the target audience is who? Women who are mothers between what age and what age. And then who will relate to them? A Caroline Motoko, a size 8 will relate to them. So look for an influencer, that is very key. Also look at an influencer depending on your stage in business. When you're starting up, you really want to first start growing your community. So here is where we'll put our content from that content calendar, put our image, then down here, we can also backdate this content. So I'm assuming this is a page we've started very new, and I did not wish people, I want to show people I've been in business. I've just started this week or this month. So I can say to put 2020, I say this is January or 2021 or 2020, let's say. January, and I'll say this is fast. We wish people up in here, and I click backdate. It will schedule. It will backdate that content. When you get on our timeline as a consumer, you'll just be able to see they've been doing work for X number of period of time. So that is the one feature. And then also, once you create your content calendar, your work is to schedule. So that you also focus on other things. So if I want this to go tomorrow at a certain time, 7 a.m., you can do the same. So Creator Studio really comes in for that. The other thing that I think is very key is a tool called Canva, or rather also a tool called Poster MyWall. So I think if we can be able to see Canva, I would love to do one for copywriting, but in the interest of time, then after Canva, the other one I wanted us to see was this tool called Poster MyWall. Good. So this is Canva. This is how it looks like. You can log in or sign up. As I said, all these tools are web-based. All of these tools are web-based, meaning there is no tool that you will say it's an app I need to install. So coming in here, you can be able to create your own artwork. This means you can be able to create compelling content. So in here, you can be able to create a Facebook post, a logo, and there are very many templates. And the work is to just drag and drop. Okay. And then the other kind of tool I also wanted us to see, apart from Canva as it loads, I also wanted us to see a tool known as Poster MyWall. So this is loading. And then there's a tool called Poster MyWall. Okay. So unless you have any question up to that. Any question up to there? Okay. Great. It's loaded. Just a minute. Before I finish my presentation, I would like us to know this tool. So this is an example. This is Poster MyWall. Poster MyWall is a tool you really use a lot whenever you're creating your own posters. I got a student 2 years ago who told me, Eunice, I want to start my own Tours and Travel, and our flyers in Tours and Travel look like this. Can I create the same on my own? So without having the knowledge of Photoshop or Illustrator. So I told him, yes, you can look at this tool. This tool here is called Poster MyWall. Very key whenever you want to create your own artworks. Very good with flyers, very good with flyers, especially for hotel industry. If you have a talk coming up and probably do not have somebody to do this for you, you can do this. But as I said, do a lot of research on your content. Look at content, what is happening on the content sector. Another thing also is it's really good. It's really good to do a search of what people are doing differently. And I want to show you just one last hack before I close my presentation session. Okay, so this tool is called Poster MyWall. You can create your own flyers if you want to. Once I click create design, it is similar to this other one called Canva. So these are the two tools. Then the other tool I wanted us to see, this is something I'm also learning. Remember, digital is dynamic. Digital keeps on changing from time to time. A lot is changing, and that is the most interesting part of it. So if you want to do digital marketing as a professional, the good thing is it's still not yet in the universities, meaning this is something that keeps changing, and it's all about interest. And I will leave us with 2 documentaries for us to watch. Initially, I got a client in a different sector. I got a client who told me I'm in a sector of events and was very skeptical because I've not run the campaigns, I've not done a strategy. And then they're getting it even worse. I'm in the digital space, so I may not know some keywords. For example, I might not know there's something called mirrored tables, there's florals, so I was wondering, how do I get these keywords? How do I get to know who is doing what and what? So first thing, get to ask this client for the keywords of your business. I'm in digital marketing. My keywords are my service lines. That is email marketing, social media marketing, digital marketing, website design. All those are my keywords. Coming into them, when you go for an event, having the tents, there's a way they call their tents. So I was looking for something known as mirrored tables. Apparently, there are tables that have mirrors, and I was looking for content because you come and find you're being told, can you get compelling content? So I have to look at who is doing what. Always do this. Always do this. So for example, if you're in a different sector, I'm in Capable and I'm dealing with trainings, or I'm in the fashion sector and I'm dealing with dresses. So one of the things is, can I be able to see who is doing what content? I did a hashtag of mirrored tables, and you see all the content that came down for me. So what happens? It gathers all contents that have that hashtag, and that is why it's very good to hashtag your content. And now emojis are becoming the big thing right now. So whenever you're putting hashtags is really key, because now I'll come and look at who is doing what tone do they use, what language do they use. So in your sector today and even right now, before you leave, just make sure on your phone and your Facebook, look for it. One thing I always say, how does Facebook make money? How does Facebook, Instagram, social media make money? How does WhatsApp make money? WhatsApp makes money from your data. That is your number. You give WhatsApp your number for you to download the app. The app is always updated every single day at 2 o'clock or 3 in the morning. They're updating your charts. Facebook has a clone of you. They understand you better than you even know yourself. So the goal is we have already opted in. We're all here. So how do we use it to grow ourselves? Using for groups are very key. And when I say groups, I do not mean the Kilimani moms and the likes. I mean, go look for, if I am a farmer and I'm selling honey, I will look for groups for farmers. I will look for who is my target audience. If I'm supplying books to schools, I'll look for those schools pages. I will DM them directly. After I DM them on their page, for example, here I'll write to them directly. After writing to them, go to Twitter, DM them directly, direct message them, call them. That's a strategy. Have a purpose. This is the audience I want to get. For me, the next 1 month, the kind of people I want them to be aware about my brand and X companies, list them down. Email them directly, call them. Make sure your social media content is compelling. Do video content. Look at who is doing what, who is not. Look at different markets, especially look at the US, the UK. In your sector, who is doing what in that side? What can I borrow from them content-wise? And then also apart from that, one thing I really say before you even deal into social media, I would like us to go look at, I don't know how many of us have watched this. Go and look for this documentary. It's called The Social Dilemma. This is the one that came out last year. Then there's another one called The Social Hack, I remember. And WhatsApp for Business is the big thing. WhatsApp for Business, yeah, the great hack. Look for those 2 social media content. They will show you how social media works. Facebook can tell when Eunice isn't happy, when Eunice is sad. And we've already given out this data. The goal is now, how do I use my own data to grow myself? After having a strategy, and as I mentioned, as I close, the most important thing for you as a business owner or you as a brand is you want to gain conversions. A page has over 40,000 followers on Instagram and Facebook, and converting is the main goal, is the main issue. Targeted advertising is everything. I repeat, targeted, data-driven advertising is everything as it now. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Eunice. I was able to follow 3 of sessions since the start to the end. And personally, I've learned a lot. And even as I work with my team back at Copywriting, I can confidently say that most of the suggestions or techniques that you have just shared will be beneficial to us. And I believe also for other attendees in the house, whenever brands we are running, either they are individual businesses or we are working for an organization, I believe these tips that have been shared by Eunice will be very useful. And I saw someone request for Eunice contact. So I don't know, maybe Eunice, you can give consent if we can share your contact. Yeah, maybe someone wants to engage with you one-on-one so that you can assist him. So Eunice has just shared her contact and her email address to all of us. And for those who are interested in keeping in touch with her, kindly, this is the chance to make use of her contacts. Now, Eunice, I'm very grateful, and on behalf of Capable, thank you so much for your presentation. It has been very inspirational, and it has taught us a lot. And the entire team that is here, I also want to thank you. I could see participants, maximum of close to 87 participants who are able to follow through. Yeah, the ones who have just left, I think it's maybe due to internet issues or maybe some urgent case that they wanted to work on. But I believe most of us have attended 80% of the session. Now, Jen is asking, how do we get the slides? I believe Jen must be joining us for the first time. So what we do is after every presentation, we always avail the materials, the the presentation materials alongside the CPD certificate. Okay, so as long as you are able to register and you have been through the session, our ICT team will make sure that all the CPD certificates are sent to everyone who attended, and all the presentation materials for your reference. So you don't have to worry about the slides at all. Now, I saw some questions on the chat box. I don't know if Eunice, you can be in a position to answer them. There is this question from Jet Maina. No, from Faith Kavuchi. Is there a specific time or day of the week that gives high engagement? I think she asked this while you were talking about something on social media engagement. And then Jet Maina was asking, what services do you offer to start up and what are the charges? So I think Jeff, you'll be able to reach to Eunice, maybe using her contacts, and then you can discuss that. I don't think there's another question. Yes. I don't know if Eunice, you can respond to that question from Faith.
Yes. Okay. So, all right. Happy you've learned one or two. That was the goal for today. Yeah, I've shared my contacts there for the ones who need. Can you get a copy of the slides? I think that he has answered. So coming into the days you may want to schedule. Good, very good question. Remember what I mentioned, you need to do something known as a social media. We call it social media listening, monitoring tools. Social media listening, monitoring, and scheduling and reporting. You schedule your content, you monitor your content. But how can I be able to tell? Let's think like a business owner. How can I be able to tell to post on Sunday or Monday? First thing, you need to be able to use that tool I've showed you, Sprout Social and Rapid IQ. They'll be on your presentations. Those two tools help you a lot whenever you want to do something known as a reporting. It's very good because the reporting are not in, don't worry, they're not boring reports, they're not in text, they're in graphical format. In short, they show you the number of male and female on your page, the growth. It will also show you what content was the most engaging content. It will break down the whole content for the last 1 week that you've been doing. It's also very good. It should be able to show you if you notice this content is getting a lot of, if I notice this content for flowers is getting a lot of engagements, then this is the route I need. This is what people can hear a lot. Once I do that, the next thing I will want is, I want to know what days work. That day I posted, you can be able to do split testing. Split testing is, I can do Monday content, I can decide I'll do Tuesday content, and I'll do Wednesday content. From my reports from Sprout Social, I should be able to tell many people are clicking on our content within this time. Another thing you also need to think of, that's a very good question. Another thing you really need to think of is, what time are you posting your content? From my experience, because I'm now into consultancy, but I was employed initially, from my 6 years experience in the digital space, you'll find very many clients will come to your website very early in the morning, 1 o'clock, sasaba, 1 o'clock, and late in the evening. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? It's very easy, because when people, how many times do you hold your phone in a day? 150 times. Meaning, if you're holding this phone 150 times in a day, the first thing when you wake up, it's your gadget. I want to be the first person. So using Creator Studio, I'll go schedule my content and I'll say, I want it to appear 7 a.m. I will not wake up at 7 a.m. and start scheduling. No. So we'll schedule that content for 7 a.m. Coming into 7 a.m., your content will be seen by anyone who is in traffic, either using a matatu or driving to work. The same thing in the evening. Timings are also very key. But for you to know what days work for you, it's really critical that you also get to be able to post content and be able to tell from your reporting tool which content is getting engagement at what time and at what days. Also, if you're here as a digital marketer, maybe I always say, never take any agency work. Never take any agency work without sitting down with the business owner. A good example is, as I mentioned, I was dealing with an events company right now, and they thought they're doing weddings, and they told us, no, us we are dealing with corporates, and our corporates engage us between Monday to Thursday. Weekends, we do not want content. That's an events company. Other events company will do the opposite. So it's good to really sit down with the business owner, being able to understand, because they understand their business in and out. They're within their system. They know how many clients we acquired today. They can even be able to tell what will work, what will not work for you. Also, it's really good for you to set up. It's also very key for you to set up shop if you do not have a website. set up your shop. That means go to Facebook, set up a shop. Go to Facebook, Eka WhatsApp for business, do not put yours. Go to Facebook, do a cleanup. These pop-up messages that always pop up, hello Eunice, sorry we are unavailable. No, change that message. Hello Eunice, sorry we are unavailable. Call us on 0. Always make sure your number is out there, because a number is a very important tool. Another thing, for the person who was asking, do you provide this for SMEs? Yes. Also, it can be looked at in 2 different ways. Someone may say, I want you to handle social media for me, or rather the digital space for me. Another person may come in to decide, can I be trained and be able to do these things hands-on on my own? Can I be able to, because in the long run, maybe it will be affordable or even rather cost-friendly to you. Remember, right now, as I always say, there are very many brands doing so much content online as at now. But my question is, how many conversions am I getting? You know, to anyone in business, if they pay a social media marketer today 10,000, at the end of the month, when they're bringing me reports, I'm expecting I got 20,000. I'm expecting whatever content you shared, and I'm also expecting whatever campaigns you run online that were data-driven can do that. Creating a lookalike audience is really, really, I repeat, that is where the juice of the matter is, simply because a number is very important. I log in on my Facebook using my number or email. So if you have Eunice's number and she buys from you a lot, you can be able to tap on me. Meaning you'll tell Facebook, go create a replica of Eunice. Look for somebody who is also within Eunice, either sector, who has similar interest, who is within similar age, so that I want my ads to be shown to them. There's nothing as bad as getting inquiries from another country or another area that, for example, I get inquiries from Bungoma or Kakamega or Eldoradaville, and I cannot be able to put my products there on their display, or rather, I cannot be able to deliver to them. So you come and find it's really, there's nothing as painful as for a business owner as setting up a campaign and seeing your money go down the drain, because I want to spend 1,000 and at least I get 2,000 out of it, or even more out of it. So data-driven advertising is really everything. Back to you, Simon.
Okay, thank you. I was on a phone call, but it's fine. So I hope that extensive elaboration on the same is a fit for the question by what else the question? Yes, Faith have asked the question. So thanks for elaborating further on that. Now I know time has really gone, but it has been worth it, and that we have really gained a lot. Now, just before forgetting, I will share the link for the upcoming session. You can just click on the chat box and you can click on the link, which will take you to our website, and you'll be able to register for any upcoming sessions. And of course, so that you don't miss out starting next week and beyond. So, members, you have come to the end of the training. I don't know if there are any other questions. You can raise your hand, and then I can allow you ask even as we come to the end of the session. We have close to 8 minutes to end the session. Anyone with a question? Feel most welcome, Jane. Jane says, thank you for the presentation. Always a pleasure listening to the facilitators. Thank you so much. FCPA Francis also said, thank you, Eunice, for the informative presentation. Thank you, Capable. You are always a great gift to us. Please keep it up and God bless you all. Thank you so much. So I don't see anyone's hand raised. So it means we are good to go. And yes, no one has raised the hand up. Now, don't forget to click on the link and register for the upcoming sessions. We will also have a very special webinar on tax tips and tax alerts for entrepreneurs and small business owners. And we'll be taken through by a very gifted expert by the name David Patrick. And this will be on 7th April. So make sure you also check out on the registrations so that you don't miss this out. Remember, we still have a period for filing returns and all that, and it's always very hectic for many citizens. So this will be a good chance for you to get to know what is happening and which buttons to press when it comes to tax. Yeah. So with that, I also want to remind us that we also have quarterly newsletters. And once all the materials are ready, we'll always get a lot of information on things to do with data governance, things to do with digital marketing, things to do with tech and analytics. And as we keep advancing in our areas of knowledge and expertise, we'll be in a better position to serve the society even better than we're doing right now. So thank you so much for always being part of Capable. And at this time, I would like to end the session. And I would like to say that we are at liberty to leave. And don't forget to reach out to us in case you have any questions or concerns. You can text me, or you can go to our website and get to look at our products and reach out to us. So thank you so much, and may we have a blessed afternoon, even as we look forward to more capacity development sessions. Thank you so much.